What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Daily Dose with Dylan Davis. Today, I'm with my guys JD and Scotty from DSM Media as we are streaming to you guys live on DSM Media's Twitch and the Painted Line YouTube and Twitter account. So if you're new to both channels, please go hit that subscribe button. Please go hit that follow button. And guys, I know you've been hearing everything about Sixers Game 7 loss over the last week. I haven't been around. Thankfully, I couldn't have picked a better time to be down the shore. Have a week to myself to kind of reflect. So that's where I'm going to start today's show. It's just kind of my reflection on Game 7. And the reason I want to do this is A, because I've been waiting to get this off my chest for an entire week, but also B, because if something does happen, I know how I've defended Ben Simmons over the last year, and I still want to defend Ben Simmons, but I'm past that point right now. And I don't want a move to be made. And then when I talk about how excited I am for that move to be made, people, are in my mentions and in the comments on the show saying, you didn't say this, you said this earlier in the year, blah, 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 blah. So here's where I'm at. I can't defend it anymore. I cannot defend 5 points in a Game 7 on 4 shots. I can't defend 4 points the game before. I can't defend 6 points the game before. I can't defend him saying, I know I need to be more aggressive after Game 5, and then not being more aggressive in back-to-back elimination games. I can't defend not taking a single shot in 4 straight fourth quarters from your starting point guard. I can't defend it anymore, man. So Ben Simmons is number 1 on my to-blame list for the Sixers' Game 7 loss and for their series loss against the Atlanta Hawks. But I will say that's not it. He is not the sole reason that the Sixers lost Game 7. He is not the sole reason that they lost that they lost the series. And here's my list. So he's number 1, and I just gave you the offensive struggles, the lack of aggressiveness, the lack of scoring, the lack of even being a threat offensively is just too much to overcome. I love the defense. I love the Defensive Player of the Year candidate. I get all of it. But you have to bring something else to the table in this day and age in the NBA, right? So he's number 1. Number 2 is Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers got outcoached by Nate McMillan all series long, and he got outcoached in Game 7. And it really hurt to watch how he coached this series and that game in particular, because all year long we've kind of seen Doc adjust a little bit. Not a ton, because he's stuck in his ways and he is stubborn. We've known that. But we've seen him make more adjustments mid-game than we saw Brett Brown make in previous years. So we kind of took that and we were like, oh my God, like a coach actually adjusting mid-game at halftime of Game 1 when Danny Green got cooked by Trae Young. He made that adjustment and we're like, okay, he made adjustments. I can't defend the Tobias Harris and the 4 bench lineup in a Game 7 when it has gotten you punished all series long. I cannot defend the lack of adjustments defensively. I cannot defend the stagnant offense, which is, in some cases on the players, but it's also on coaching and preparation. I can't defend coming out in Game 6 and 7 and looking flat and out of a rhythm. And I can't defend this, guys. The Sixers' 3rd most played lineup during the playoffs was George Hill, Shake Milton, Matisse Thybulle, Tobias Harris, and Dwight Howard. Toby and the 4 bench. That lineup finished with a net rating of negative 16 points per 100 possessions. Their 3rd most used lineup in a playoff series. I cannot defend that. So Doc Rivers is number 2 on the to-blame list. And not to mention, we kind of were hoping that history wouldn't repeat itself with all the blown series leads. And it happened again, and he owns that record by a wide margin now, guys. Number 3 on my blame list is Tobias Harris, and I just saw the comment about him at the bottom, and I will get to all those comments right when I'm done this little rant because I just need to get this off my chest. But I can't defend 8 of 24 in a Game 7. I can't defend the Game 1 performance he had. I can't defend. He showed up at some points in this game. I believe it was Game 2 when he scored 16 first quarter points and he set the tone, but he disappeared too often in this 7-game series against a team that, quite frankly, shouldn't have been able to guard him. Scott, you could tell me if I'm wrong here, but Kevin Huerter, I know he's 6'7". Bogdan Bogdanovic, they can't guard him. They shouldn't be able to guard him. And too many times in that series, with his back to the basket, he got plucked, he got blocked, he got the ball stripped, or he couldn't even, gain his ground and get to the basket at times.
Hey, bro, Ish Smith was blocking him. Let's not forget.
Yeah, the first series.
I mean, he's yeah. I don't know what's up with Tobias and finishing.
And then my fourth. Well, and then the bench is obviously, not Doc Rivers playing the bench, but the lack of bench production and lack of bench scoring and blowing leads when the bench is out there hurt them as well. So that's going to be a blame. Number 4, number 5, whatever you want to call it, is going to be something that people aren't going to like me saying. And and what I mean by this, he is number 97 on the blame list. So, but I'm just saying he gets blame. And that is Joel Embiid. Guys, I get it. He averaged 31 and 13 or whatever he averaged this series, and he was dominant. He was doing it on that injury, and I give him all the credit in the world. I love me some Joel Embiid, okay? But to say he goes without fault is just asinine. Scott, was Joel Embiid on the floor in the first half of Game 1 when they were getting their asses kicked at home?
Yeah, of course. And,
was Joel Embiid on the floor when they blew an 18-point lead in Atlanta in Game 4? Was he on the floor when they blew a 26-point lead in Game 5? Was he on the floor when he shot 0 for 12 in the second half of Game 5? Did he or did he not have 16 turnovers? Your center, your MVP caliber center, had 16 turnovers combined in Game 6 and Game 7. So to say he goes without blame is a complete and utter joke. It was a total team collapse. It was a total team failure. That was the point of this rant. However, I'm not naive enough to say that it is not led by 2-5 and it is not led by Ben Simmons. And I can't defend that part anymore. So, Scott, I'll throw it to you. Anything you want to take away from my comments. But next, we do have some trade rumors to get into.
Yeah, of course. Just to, kind of follow up on some of the things you said, I'll just add some things. Tyrese Maxey obviously was the push behind Game 6 that kind of got us that W. I know that, it obviously takes a full team effort, but that was like the telling 2 games for me. So Game 6, you see Ben Simmons go out early with foul trouble, only plays like 25 minutes in that game. Tyrese Maxey plays close to 30 minutes, gets 16 points. We win that game, even though Trae Young was playing really well in that game, in Game 6. He was not shooting like he was shooting in Game 7. So then we get to Game 7. You see Tyrese Maxey. I think he gets like 14 points. Only got 14 minutes.
Yeah,
we got 1 minute in the second half. And Trae Young goes 5 for 23 from the field. Only has 21 points. Ben Simmons plays a lot of minutes, and we lose that game. So, and I know that it's not as simple as just that. Those 2 factors, but it was very kind of it was kind of compelling to see that between those 2 games and just seeing that a little bit of production in the scoring column from your point guard can make a world of a difference. And that's something that I just wanted to call out, not only, Ben Simmons, but Doc Rivers as well, for just not even giving him the opportunity in Game 7 after you saw what he was able to do in Game 6. So a lot of that, and, you look at Game 7 as well, you're in the fourth quarter. Once again, Dwight Howard's in the game. That can't be a thing. I mean, you can't have your bench rotations in the game. Shake started the fourth quarter. He didn't play the entire game. This isn't Game 4 where you're inserting Shake to get that spark plug. You know what I mean? Like this, or Game 2. I'm sorry. This isn't Game 2 where you insert Shake to get that spark plug off the bench. This is Game 7. You got to roll with the guys that have been consistent in this series, and just more of the inconsistency from Doc. We wondered all season, guys. Like, we wondered all season if Doc would ever stop those hockey line rotations, and he didn't. And it killed us down until the end. And it's almost like we forgot, with the Ben Simmons stuff. And it's like Doc he's gotten his fair share of criticism, but probably not enough in reality. Because everything's so focused on Ben. But the simple fact is, if Ben makes some adjustments to his game, we probably would have won that series in 5-6 games. If Doc Rivers makes some adjustments as a head coach, we probably win that series in 5 to 6 games. You didn't even need both of them to occur. You just needed one of them. And that's the way I've divided the blame for myself. So that's really all I wanted to add there. And disappointed, man.
And just throwing this to you two and JD first, because he hasn't spoke yet. But like, you bring up the Doc point, and look, dude, I don't want Doc gone by any stretch of the imagination after 1 year. He's not going to be gone after 1 year.
Right.
The Sixers obtained the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. They had home court. Okay. But your point's very interesting and very valid, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and thinking that or hoping for a different outcome, right? Yeah. So we're kind of at that point with Ben Simmons, right? And I think that's why everyone's fed up, and that's why I'm fed up, because while he only is 24, 25 years old, this is going to be season number 5 or whatever, off season number 5. And it's very hard for me to be insane and think and buy into the off-season shooting videos in the open gym, and that he's going to fix his game offensively, and that he knows what he needs to do, and he's going to come out and be a different player. But to your point, Scott, right? So Doc's not going to be gone. However, there should be more uproar about it, because, like, literally, we're insane for thinking that he's going to adjust next year at this point. That's kind of where I'm at with that as well. Like, guys, Ben's done this for 5 years. Doc's done this for like 2 decades. Yeah. And to think that in 2022, now he put it together after blowing the 3-1 lead with the Clippers last year and utilizing his bench too much, then he comes out this year. We're hoping that he learned from those mistakes. He does the same thing in Philadelphia. So now in 2022, he's not going to use 9 or 10 guys in a playoff rotation. He's not going anywhere. I don't want him to go anywhere. It would be stupid to assume that he's being fired after 1 year when they were the number 1 seed. But it is kind of insane to think that Ben can't change, but then you're also going to assume that Doc's going to adjust next year. JD, floor is yours.
So I lost my little graphic where I had "Don't trade Ben for peanuts." Like, y'all know how I feel about that. I want to throw this out there because I've been thinking about this for a while. Yes, we are talking about Ben a lot. But who going into the playoffs thought Ben was going to be a huge offensive factor? I didn't think he was going to. He averages about 10 points a game, roughly. So that means he's going to have some games he's going to have 3, and that means he's going to have some games he's going to have 23. That's just how averages work. So on any given, time of the season, dude cannot score. Like, it could be a potential situation where he might not score. Yeah. But we've gotten used to it because we get enamored by what the media shows us. They show us, he had 4 points, he had 6 points, he had 7 points. If these games are won, we're not talking about Ben Simmons.
Yeah,
we don't give a shit. Like, we don't. But because we lose, we're going to talk about Ben Simmons. And in all honesty, from a point guard's perspective, we pay this dude a lot of money, but a point guard's job is to take care of the ball and not turn the ball over. Well, newsflash, motherfuckers, he only had 2 turnovers. He didn't have no points, but he played decent defense. And Trae Young in Game 7, he only had 17 going into the 4th quarter or something.
Yeah.
So I mean, what was his point? Was okay. He didn't take a dunk. I don't like the dunk that he didn't take. Don't get me wrong. I didn't like it either. But what we talking about practice? Like,
I think the dunk point is more than what it just showed. It wasn't that particular play. It's the backstory. It's the mental.
Wanted nothing to do with it. Yeah.
Then being afraid to mess up.
Right.
And that's my issue with it right now.
And I get it. So let me go back a bit. So it's not the fact that he took it, but think about what basketball really is. Basketball is like 60% about your athletic ability, 40% about the mental game, regardless if it's coaching or whatever. They messed Ben up from the jump by messing with his mental, by fouling him. They didn't even try to foul dude in any other games for real. They only did it maybe twice, and it messed him up so bad he was gone for the rest of the series. So, in all honesty, Ben was gone for us in Game 2 once they started fouling him, and they made him lose the game for us. And then he took that blame on. Ben might not be the guy that's all saying, "Okay, well, I got it going on," But Ben's also like kind of like a tender soul, so to speak. He doesn't do well with like criticism. He just said I saw a guy at the podium at Game 7 that legitimately knew he has to change something. I've never seen him that defeated, and I'm gonna be honest. Like I didn't see him be like, "Oh, well, I can't shoot," whatever. That guy was defeated, and he knew he had. It was almost like watching Joel Embiid the year before when he realized I'm fat and I'm out of shape. So maybe he takes this on as a challenge, but like I keep telling everybody, man, there's a lot of moments where Embiid misses the layup with his eyes closed, trying to draw a foul or whatever, instead of just making a layup. So there's a lot of things to point to and characterize. But the rumor mill, man, it's only 1 week removed, and we've already traded Ben, Tobias, the whole squad. We've already traded everybody for opportunity that may not ever come, that we're just trying to get to. So I always tell everybody this, man. I'm about to get shirts and stuff made with this shit on it. Don't sell the farm. You always want to sell the farm. Don't sell the farm yet.
So we do have to move on because I don't want to stick on Game 7 in the Hawks series because it was over a week ago. I just wanted to, clear my mind since I was away for the last week. But moving forward and to the Ben trade rumors, which we'll jump into now. The first thing I will say is I want nothing more for Ben Simmons to figure it out and to say, say F you to everybody who burned his jersey after the game and called him this and called him that and, is done with him. I would like nothing more than that because I think we all see what his ceiling can be. But here's where I'm at. If the rumors are true and Stephen A reported it, but Stephen A's pretty locked in, guys. We can laugh at him because he's on First Take or whatever, but he's pretty in tune. And I don't know how true it is, but other people have backed it up too. That Ben's camp is his family. Like he's only surrounded by family. Pretty sure his shooting coach is that brother or whatever, or one of his trainers is that brother. His dad and his brother have him shooting. He finishes with his right hand around the rim, but he shoots free throws with his left hand and shoots the baby hook with his right hand. Here's where I'm at. If I'm Doc, if I'm Daryl Morey, if I'm everyone, I'm saying, yo, they're done. You want to play in Philadelphia because I don't think he wants to leave. Like, remember when everyone said he wants to be in LA? I don't think that's true. I don't think Ben wants to be gone. Okay. If you don't want to be traded, they're gone. You work with us. We're figuring this shit out. And that's where I'm at. No more your dad, your brother, your friends, your family. You're getting coddled. You're getting babied. You don't have to improve this. You're shooting with the wrong hand, but you finish with this hand. No. You're with us. You're working with us now. We're figuring this out this offseason. If that can't work out, he's gone. Scott, thoughts on the, family rumors?
Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising, right? Like you see the result on the court. I mean, you look at a guy that was shooting 30% from the free throw line in the playoffs. I mean, that shows a lack.
The worst ever, bro.
Yeah,
the worst ever.
A lack of effort, a lack of focus, a lack of just putting the work in the gym. When you put the work in the gym, and we've all been here, we've all played sports. Like there's a reason we love to watch these sports. When you're comfortable on the court, on the field, whatever it is, if you're putting that work on the practice field, you're not going to be so nervous when you go out there and you do it in the real games. Now, obviously, there's big moments, but come on, this guy's playing in the NBA. He's been the front of a franchise for how many years now? Like, get over it. Like the embarrassment and like this, like pride and like trying to avoid, the embarrassment. And all I can take from it is exactly, we talk about Stephen A, how he's plugged in. I don't even need to hear Stephen A say it. That's what I would assume. Yeah. If I was looking at Ben Simmons and what he's putting on the court. And what I will also say about Ben Simmons is that it's just completely disgruntled me. Like I don't care what shooting coach he has this summer. Like I really don't care. I'm like beyond it. And I get like JD's graphic earlier. You don't want to trade him for pennies on the dollar, but I'm going to be very pissed off if he's on the Sixers roster going into next season, unless there is some monumental change. Maybe they move Tobias and we see something new, but that's not right. That's not happening. So I'm going to be very pissed off. There's a good chance he's not moved by next season in reality. We don't know where his market value is, but I'm going to be pissed off.
So
and I'll leave it at that until we get to the trade rumors.
I do think he's gone. I don't, because where I'm stuck in, you can't trade him for pennies on the dollar. Okay. The Sixers can't get past the second round, but the Sixers have championship aspirations. They have an MVP caliber Joel Embiid in his prime right now. They have Daryl Morey who's going to go all in. They're in win right now mode. Okay. So trading Ben Simmons for D'Angelo Russell or Andrew Wiggins or Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley or anything like that doesn't push you to a championship. So stop with those. If I know they're out there, those guys are on the trade block. They're suitors for Ben. I will be really pissed off. Scott, you said you'll be pissed off if he's here. I'll be pissed off if he's gone for one of those deals. Okay, trade him for a superstar, and I know his stock is not bringing in a superstar, but you have other assets. You have young players. You have draft compensation. You have pick swaps. You could bring in a third team. They'll figure it out. I don't see how he's here. But the last thing I wanted to say before we get to Dame time and some of the other rumors that are out there is you guys need to chill out with how you come at Ben on social media. You have we're all pissed off at Ben. I'm pissed off at Ben, and I'm one of his biggest supporters all year long. But all I ever see on social media in today's world is all what, guys? It's mental health. But people, they push mental health and you don't know what's going on in their lives. And if something was going on with Joel Embiid, it's, well, you don't know what's going on, blah, blah, blah. But Ben Simmons just gets called mentally weak, mentally soft. He's this, he's that. So those same rules don't apply to Ben Simmons. We can go at this dude. We can make fun of him because he's in his own head right now at the free throw line. We can make fun of that, but if it was someone else, we can't make fun of it. Stop. And I get you, Scotty. I'm with you. He needs to. They are humans, but he's a max contract player. He is supposed to be a star in this league, and the open gym shooting needs to translate to an NBA court. But for everyone out there calling him mentally weak and too small for the moment and this and that, needs to stop as well.
Well, Dylan, who? All right. Well, let me just throw this out there. Who said he was the next coming of LeBron James? He didn't say that. His camp didn't say that.
Yeah, I know.
Me and Scotty have been saying this for a long time. The people who really know ball know who Ben Simmons really is. We know who he is. We're not people that really know ball know that Ben Simmons he's the third or fourth option on this team for scoring. So he was never supposed to put up all this stuff, these crazy numbers. The dude averaged 10 points a game. If he does that in the playoffs, then great, you got your average. He went for 40 one time this year. And people were like, oh, it was crazy. But look how he got that 40. He didn't get that 40 jacking up three-pointers. He got that 40 by attacking the basket and going downhill. That's the strength of his game. To your point about the mental health thing, that's crazy. People don't go at LeBron James about his mental health. They kind of curb what they say because out of respect. But to be honest, if I'm being 100% honest, if I'm Ben Simmons and I'm trying to stay in Philly, why? Why do I say why not just hopefully you guys trade me and I come here every time I play you and I do a Jimmy Butler to you every single time I play you. And I just continue because that's the thing. The Philly curse is kind of it cuts on both sides. It's we get these guys and we lose them, but then they come back or they have these great careers afterward. Look at Charles Barkley, leaves Philly, goes to the championship. He doesn't win it, but he goes. That Philly team doesn't go again until Allen Iverson, and they also lose. So I mean, come on, man.
I just want to clarify the mental weak part, the comments that I made, because I'm not saying you can't criticize Ben Simmons for not being, ready for the moment, or he shies away from the moment, or he's scared to fail. But keep it real, because it's the same. The people that are attacking him for being mentally weak and making a joke out of his head are going to be the same people that tweet and post about mental health and other athletes. You don't know what's going on. You can't do that for one athlete and not the other. If you don't do it at all, and you're going to criticize him for being, mentally weak, and he's supposed to be a superstar, and he makes all this money, then that's your opinion. But don't say he's mentally weak. But then when it comes to Joel Embiid or someone else, you don't know what's going on, or it's not cool to criticize someone's mental state. Well, then don't do it to Ben. Like it goes both ways.
It's clearly mental. Like I'm being honest.
You don't
It's
shoot
clearly
30.
mental.
You don't shoot 30% from the free throw line out of just, not being able to shoot. Shaq could shoot better than 30%, and Shaq couldn't shoot a lick from the line. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. And yeah, Ben, and that's just, I don't know how he comes back. I really don't. I'm stuck there. I'm stuck at, you can't trade him for pennies on the dollar, but I don't know how you can run this back. And I don't know outside of him what else you're doing. Because, and guys, the reason that I'm most upset with Ben is because before, the Sixers haven't been able to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. They haven't been able to get past the second round hump. What were the three components? Brett Brown, Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons. Brett Brown's gone. Joel Embiid improved himself to an MVP caliber player. The common denominator is Ben Simmons, and that's why I'm stuck here, because I know what he can be. I can't trust that that's going to transform over this next offseason or so, and you can't keep playing around with Joel Embiid prime years. You just can't to wait on Ben.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
How can we assume that it's not Joel Embiid either?
Because Joel Embiid got better.
He did get better, but in the game that we need him to do the best, though he had a chance to win it, he doesn't win it. Like Jimmy Butler, that's the biggest indictment. Like that Jimmy Butler was supposed to be our closer.
What we're talking about now, like what everybody's excited about is, I mean, it's something fair to say. Maybe Joel is not a number one, is what we're kind of getting to here,
No.
and
Not in this game.
to bring in Dame, you're looking to bring in somebody that's going to hit those shots at the end of the game because Joel can't. And that does say something. I mean, that's something we'll get to. I'm sure, we'll digress and get to that point. But obviously, Ben Simmons is number one criminal here. But Joel Embiid, like you said, he had 16 turnovers in Game 6 and Game 7. Disappears late in the games, missing easy, shots that I thought were automatic for Joel Embiid. Those mid-range jump shots that are hitting the front of the rim, I thought those were automatic. The layup at the end of Game 4, 0 for 12 in the second half.
I got you.
It's wild.
I got you. And I blamed him. He's part of the blame. But that's not like Joel improved himself to an MVP caliber player. Joel averaged 31 and 13. And yeah, he had 8 turnovers in Game 6, 8 turnovers in Game 7, and that's where his blame comes into play. But Ben hasn't taken any steps. So that's why Ben's the common denominator for me. He hasn't. You can say, okay, well, he's a defensive player of the year. Well, congratulations. You had 4 points you had 5 points on 4 shots in a Game 7. You had 4 points the game before. So here's where I'm at. You guys, JD just said that you guys have always said he didn't say he was a superstar. Next coming LeBron. His camp did it, and I get all that. And I'm not saying that I ever thought he has been a superstar yet in his career, but I thought he could get there. And I think that's a realization that's hitting me right now, is that the plan was the Sixers were going to have 2 superstars. And I think the sad truth is the Sixers have a superstar and an all-star.
So now you need a closer, right? So that's the thing. Like, we're going to look for a closer. But we had a closer, and that didn't work either.
Well, because he didn't get along with Ben.
All I'm saying
I'm saying he didn't get along with Ben.
but what I'm saying is, okay, let me just throw this out there real quick. So you look at that team with Jimmy Butler. That team is kind of constructed like how we wanted it to be constructed. But that team doesn't get by Kawhi. And Kawhi wins on a double bounce. So if it seems to me that you've changed this team a couple of times, and no matter how you've changed it, they've come up with the same result. But we think that maybe we think Joel Embiid is the number one, and he's not. Maybe he's 1B.
No, I think that's missing the point, though, because he has improved.
No,
Ben hasn't improved at all.
But I'm saying that we had a 1A with him before with Jimmy. Jimmy did everything he could to win that series, and we watched him lose it. So what if just adding Dame puts us right back where we were with Jimmy?
Nah, because that's a different Joel Embiid compared to 2018.
My biggest thing with that is Dame will be the number one. Like that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Trade for Dame, he's going to be the number one. And separate like Ben and Joel because they are 2 individuals.
Yeah.
So like we don't have to compare them, But when we're separating blame and like what the responsibilities are, Joel holds more responsibilities when it comes to closing the games, when it comes to scoring, and he just wasn't there. And we can blame it on Ben because obviously Ben, we were playing 4 versus 5.
Exactly. So that's the issue. That should be part of Ben's. That should be part of Ben's job description. But Ben won't shoot the basketball.
It is. You're right. I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing. You're right.
No, I know.
You're right.
So I guess let's get into Dame, right? Guys, JD, I know you said don't sell the farm. And I get you. I'm selling the farm for Dame Lillard.
Let me hear why.
I'll tell you why. You are trying to win right now. You're trying to win with Joel Embiid. If you're thinking past Joel Embiid, I don't, not you, but just people out there, like, why? Like, what, you're going to keep Maxey till Maxey blossoms? Well, by the time Maxey blossoms, Joel Embiid will no longer be Joel Embiid and winning a championship for you. Matisse Thybulle. So you have a window right now to win with Joel Embiid. You need to pair him with someone. You need to get over that hump, right? So the other argument is the bench. I've heard I have gotten a lot of pushback about, oh, well, we can't give up Maxey and Tease and Ben because then we have no bench depth. What in the blue hell has this bench depth gotten you? What has it gotten you? We just saw what the Bucks are doing right now. They've shortened their bench. They're smart. And we don't need more bench options for Doc Rivers to go to in the playoffs going further. Okay? So the bench depth is not a reality to me. I don't care. I'd rather have Damian Lillard in your starting lineup than having Matisse Thybulle and Tyrese Maxey coming off the bench next year. That's where I'm at with that. Your starting 5 would be Damian Lillard, Seth Curry, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid. Tobias Harris is now the 3rd scoring option. Seth Curry showed you a little something in this series. He's one of the only guys that stepped up outside of Joel Embiid this series consistently. And then you still have Shake Milton, George Hill, whoever you want going to the bench. And then you have to plug and play in free agency. Okay? Damian Lillard pushes that needle for me. I think Dame has it. I know you said, well, he hasn't won. Portland's not constructed very good at all. We talk about how Golden State isn't constructed well with Seth this year because of the Clay injury. Portland's not constructed well at all. You pair Joel Embiid with Dame Lillard, that offense, that 2-man game, that pick and roll, that can win you. That starting 5 can win you a championship. And I could give 2 shits about how much bench depth we have because it hasn't gotten you anywhere. I would trade Ben Simmons. I don't know what the package would be, but I would give up everything outside of Joel Embiid. They're not going to want Tobias Harris, so we can forget about throwing him in. Seth Curry's interesting because on that deal, he could be someone a team would want to throw in on that contract with 2 years left and his production. But I highly doubt Seth's part of the deal. So I would give up Ben, Maxey, Tease, picks, whatever it is. The 3rd team's got to get involved because maybe Ben goes to Minnesota and Minnesota throws some young assets at Portland. I'm going all in on Dame Lillard because I think he changes everything.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just as far as the deal, I mean, if it takes Tease and Maxey, I mean, I'll do it. I'm kind of thinking, maybe Portland would work with Philly. Maybe what I'm actually thinking is that maybe Philly fans kind of overrate Matisse Thybulle and his value, and Portland may not want Matisse Thybulle and Ben Simmons, 2 question marks on the offensive end. So in that case, you may be able to get them to take a guy like Shake, maybe if you give them an extra pick or whatever the case may be. That's to be determined. Either way, Shake, Matisse Thybulle, they're not making the difference in me getting this deal done. Nobody on the team is in reality. If they wanted fucking Tobias and Ben, I'll do it. Like, get both of those contracts off. I know that's not financially possible for Portland, but just to put where I'm at full scale, yeah, I'm doing that to get a dog in here because that's what it comes down to for me at the end of that series against Atlanta. Atlanta just had more dogs than us. I mean, Kevin Huerter and John Collins out there embarrassing my squad. I don't want any part of that. Like, that was disappointing. And
this is another reason.
Talent. It was just the dog mentality of them. They have none.
So you just brought it up, Scott, and JD asked why. And this, so Florian says Seth and Dame in the starting five kill us in the D. Okay, guys, listen, because I posed this to you before the show. The Atlanta Hawks weren't a good defensive team this season. They weren't. It was said that they couldn't play a lick of defense. How many times did Sixers get held to under 100 points versus this Atlanta Hawks team? Like 3 times? I think 3 times in a 7-game series. They scored under 100 points. The Sixers had 3 all-NBA defensive players. Matisse Thybulle and Joel Embiid were on the second team. Ben Simmons was on the first team and came in second place for Defensive Player of the Year. Guess where that got them? Bounced in the second round to a lesser talented team because they had more options offensively. You know why? Because good offense will beat great defense in today's NBA. The whistle doesn't favor the defensive player. The whistle favors the offensive player. Good offense will beat great defense. You saw it in this series.
All right, so I'm gonna be honest, and this is gonna suck because I don't want this to happen, but I need to be real because that's just my thing. I'm just always real. All right, the realest part of this is we're probably not getting Dame. I just don't want to get anybody's hopes up. I'm gonna be real. We don't have the collateral to trade for him. Like, I don't really think they want Ben. I really don't think they want Matisse. I don't think they want Tobias. I don't think they want Seth. I don't think they want to touch us with a 10-foot pole because we don't have the assets to give them back. It just I'll try to crush the numbers. I'm a realist. I wanted this to happen so bad. Like, I wanted him.
Believe that, man. I don't believe that at all.
Listen, the only reason I'm gonna say this is because if you trade Ben, what does Ben give you? Somebody that might not show up. He might not be mentally ready for the next season because he took a beating here. Like, let's just be honest. The media has beat him up this entire series. So he took a beating. What do we really have to offer them that they're going to be like, oh, let's do it? We tried to get Harden earlier in the year, and they wanted nothing to do with it. So what makes us think that we can go get Dame, whose stock is really, really high right now? I don't know.
So real quick, Marky has a great point because this is what we talked about with not selling him for peanuts, as JD says. I think logically, I don't move emotionally. I only trade Ben in a package that makes the team better. Otherwise, yeah, I'm keeping the 24-year-old. I agree with you, dude. You don't sell him for pennies on the dollar. We're trying to win a championship. You move him in a trade that pushes you closer to obtaining that goal. You don't trade him for Andrew Wiggins or D'Angelo Russell or anything like that just to get him out of town. However, I do think he needs a change of scenery, and I think the Sixers need one as well. But to that point, I don't believe that because, and again, there's options where other teams get involved, a la in Minnesota, who really wants Ben Simmons apparently, and they have young assets that they can throw towards Portland's way. They have draft picks. We have draft picks. We have pick swaps. I think they would want a Tyrese. If they're in a rebuild mode, I think they would love a Tyrese Maxey and a Matisse Thybulle or one of them. Maybe they do want Ben. Maybe they think they can fix Ben. If not, like I said, another team like Minnesota who wants him bad enough will throw things Portland's way to get that type of deal done. I'm not trying to get my hopes up. I'm not trying to say that, Dame is coming here and all these rumors, like it's going to get done. I just think it's possible that it gets done. And the other reason is because we've seen how superstars in the NBA in this day and age can kind of not dictate where they go, but they can push their way out. And if the rumors are true, we've been talking about rumors all show long. If the rumors are true that, Dame is getting pushed away from Portland. He wasn't involved in the Chauncey Billups hiring. He didn't want Chauncey Billups. There were rumors that he was frustrated at the end of the year. If he wants out and he wants to win, yeah, there's going to be other places that can throw stuff at him. Maybe, but I think Philly, if you're Dame, how can you not look at Joel Embiid and Seth and everything and see that this team is just number one, so you can think that you can win. So I think he plays a role in him getting out of Portland, and I think there's other ways that they can make it work, not just throwing Ben their way.
Right. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna give it to Scotty because I think Scotty might have something for this. So what I'm saying is, we've tried to get rid of Ben like 4 times. Like in every single trade rumor that come out in the last year, it's always included Ben Simmons. So if we've tried all these different trades to get rid of him,
I don't think they really have though.
So Harden, he was definitely on the chopping block. Lowry, before Lowry was coming up, before the whole signing him, he was going to be a part of that. Like we weren't going to keep Lowry and Simmons. So these are all big name people. So we're trying to
but Lowry didn't get moved because Toronto just had their head so far up their ass for what their asking price was. And then the Harden thing, I forget what it came down to. Like the Sixers didn't want to put Maxey in the package at the time.
They
or whatever.
were. The thing with the Rockets is that the Rockets weren't going to do a deal with Philly regardless. Like they were going to send Harden right back to Morey, and let Morey win that trade. That just was never going to happen.
Right. So what trade do we win? Like, I mean, let's take him out. Let's take Dame out of it. Who else do we want? Do we want Lowry now? Do we take Lowry? Because I would love to have Lowry in Philly.
I would love to too, and you get Lowry for much cheaper. There's guys I do it for. It's not just Dame. Dame's number one on my list by far. Lowry, I would look at. Bradley Beal, I would definitely move for. Guys that I wouldn't have said yes to before, I would say yes to now. And there's just a few of them. Bradley Beal, probably Zach LaVine. Lowry, but guys, let me ask you: do you really think that if you moving Ben and adding Lowry really pushes the needle like that? Like adding Lowry with the core, I thought made sense at the time, but I don't think moving Ben for Kyle Lowry moves the needle like that.
My incline for Lowry died at the trade deadline. I wanted him. He's a 35-year-old point guard, undersized. I'm not really that interested in him, especially for the price tag that he was looking for from Toronto and other suitors that were looking to trade for him. I'm not interested in him for the price that he's going to come at. And the only reason that I wanted him was because I saw the window that we had this season and his fit with this team and what they could have done. And if we would have made that deal, it's hard to say. He did end up injured, I guess, but that was more my incline for Kyle Lowry. That died at the trade deadline. If it wasn't happening there, then I'd really not interested in.
There's a couple comments over here, guys. If you want to look,
yeah, I'm looking.
There's people that are, maybe you get CJ and Lowry, maybe you get Lowry and Beal. I have no idea. Conley's name's being thrown out. Mike, one of them doesn't push the needle for a championship, like Conley or Lowry. But I don't know. It's going to be a very interesting offseason. And just kind of where I'm at is, I think Daryl Morey is going to do something. I don't think he sits back and does nothing, dude. That's why I just don't believe Ben's here at the end of the summer. And again, I think he's smart enough to know he's not trading Ben for a bag of chips.
And I think with, the whole Dame situation, it is important to temper your expectations because what I think you were getting at, JD, with not that the Portland Trailblazers don't want, and maybe you did mean it that way, but not that they don't want these players from us, but you're not trading Dame, just like we don't want to trade Ben for pennies. We're not trading Dame just to trade Dame. The only way that changes the whole grand scheme of everything is if this isn't all just smoke and Dame really is about to force his way out. That's the key. And
that's the key. If Dame wants out, something will happen. Exactly.
But the thing about it is,
he's on that list. That's what.
Yeah, exactly. If anything, he's going to the Lakers. He wants to play LeBron. They've already been tweeting. There's going to be some type of tampering going down. Listen, I love the fact that we could get Dame. I loved it. I thought about it and I was happy. But then I started thinking to myself, knowing my luck, we won't get him. I was happy when we got Jimmy Butler. I was like, oh, we got Jimmy Butler. And then I was like, he left as quick as he came. It was okay, well.
So there's a couple comments over here about moving Tobias while his value is high. He had a good year. Do not get me wrong. I love Tobias Harris. He shriveled up in this series. He's also a max contract player. I don't know how much stock Tobias Harris carries. So I think Ben is the piece.
See, some of these trades that people have been saying for Ben Simmons, I might do them for Tobias Harris. You know what I mean?
Right, like a D'Angelo, like a Andrew Wiggins type,
or a Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley. I'd probably do that. We get two players for the price of one. But if we're thinking his value is going to be over Ben's, or if that would be, that's not going to happen. I think Ben still holds more value, but if you can fall into the right situation, where maybe there's a contender that wants Tobias as their third option, then that would be, you might be able to get some value there, but not a lot of teams with that, that situation. So it is hard to
See,
say.
this is the one thing that I can't get behind. Ben playing the four allowed guys. No, but basketball this day and age, the positions, the numbers go out the window. They don't exist anymore. And he played the four all year long. He brought the ball up, but he was put in the dunker spot, and we still struggled offensively against the Atlanta Hawks. Changing his position doesn't make you any better, especially when what have we been screaming for? We need a stretch four. Ben Simmons damn sure ain't no stretch four, okay?
But you don't have a stretch three though. So that if you trade Buddy Hield for this Harris thing, you got a stretch person now. Like this thing gets a lot more interesting.
But then you have no point guard.
I mean, honestly, Buddy Hield can bring the ball up.
Fuck. F that.
Dude, all you gotta do is get somebody to get the ball across half court. Nobody's strapping now.
And you need someone to get them into their sets, into their offense, to run the offense. That's why we loved Ben all year, right? Because Ben made life easier for the rest of his teammates. That's one of the things he does well offensively. I just don't think.
Forget.
I know. I don't think changing his position is a thing.
Yeah, if you move Tobias's contract, you could potentially bring in somebody to play, like a veteran.
See, and I'm not even trying to move Tobias. I really don't like that logic. I get that his stock might be a little higher than it was before because of the season he had. But like Scotty, you talked about it earlier. Tobias Harris was forced to be the second scoring option on a championship team. Well, if you bring in a Dame Lillard, a Bradley Beal, a Zach, whoever they bring in, well, now it's Joel and them, and then Tobias is number 3. That's completely different. I know it doesn't sound crazy where, he only went from 2 or 3. It does make a world of difference. If your third option can average 18 to 22 points like Tobias Harris can and will, that's completely different than him at being your second option, where now Joel's going to average close to 30, Dame's going to average close to 30, Tobias is averaging around 20. That's way different.
But what about Curry now? Like, what do you do with Curry? Do you move Curry? No, you keep him, but I'm saying, does that move Curry into the third spot? Because everything's stretched out, and that plays more than his role.
I just think in an offense with Dame or Beal or whatever, I just think everyone would eat, dude. I know we loved Ben for, making life easier, as I just said, especially in transition. And, we would always say, ask Seth Curry or Danny Green how easy it is to play with Ben because they're so open in the corner. I think where it would be, Joel Embiid would have so much room to operate if that's the starting lineup. Dame Lillard will have so much room to operate. Tobias Harris has more room to operate. There's not so much more clogging in the paint. I just think everyone would kind of eat. Seth would still get his looks just because you don't have Ben to put it on a silver platter for him. I think Seth would still average double digits for this team and be a fourth option scoring wise and step up in games where you needed him to. I just think offense. Just think about the offense for a second. Forget Dame. Just plug in either of the 3 I said: LaVine, Dame, Beal.
I really like
those.
LaVine.
You do or don't?
I do like LaVine because he's got length. Like I like anything long. Any player that's long and athletic that can serve multiple purposes. Like that's what the league's going to. Like look at how they use KD. KD was playing center at some points during the year, guys. So like. Let's be honest. Like, if we could get a stretch big that can shoot the ball like LaVine, our life gets a lot easier. Like a lot of the woes we don't have him anymore. He's athletic. He can still jump. He can still handle. Like he gives us a lot more versatility. So, and then you still got Curry. I like the LaVine trade.
Yeah, and I think what Florian just said down there, we need a point guard, and I think that's what we can't get misconstrued when we're thinking about trying to fix this team. And it's not just, singularly a point guard, but it's somebody that's going to dribble, drive, penetrate, and make, bring attention in the lane whenever they dribble into the lane.
I hate saying it because I argued against it for 2 years now. Just one that will shoot. Just one that will shoot. And I argued that for so long, and I can't anymore. I really cannot defend it, dude. It is going to...
I look at LaVine, Beal, Dame, any point guard, like you said, Dylan, that can shoot, that has touch. I mean, can get in the lane and just use one hand for a floater. I mean, those are things that are game changing. Just imagine if, let's say, Beal is running a pick and roll with Joel Embiid, and they're running the same type of action that Trae Young runs with Clint Capella and John Collins. I mean, that's unstoppable. It's literally unstoppable because you're going to give either a wide open mid-range jump shot to a guy that could knock it down, or you're going to let Joel go one-on-one and he's going to beat the guy in front of him. So I'm with you guys as far as, but I did, I kind of wanted to backtrack on what I was saying earlier as far as Tobias Harris. We can't just trade him for Buddy Hield and Marvin Bagley and forget what the problem was in the first place. And it was just simply having a point guard that can score and attack the paint and obviously, be accountable for shooting, like somebody that the defense has to account for.
Does anybody care about John Wall at all? Is anybody like John Wall? Like, to any?
Not for Ben.
Not for Ben. That's
well, that would be a trade to what, Houston?
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody else. So hold on, RJ. So who? I know you really want Dame because you started the show with that, but you keep saying we need a damn point guard. But so Dame's really the only one because you're saying no to Levine up there. You're proud that Beal's not a point guard, so you're saying no to Beal. So really, all you're saying is I want Damian Lillard, and that's it. Or give me another example of who you would want, and I'll tell you if that makes them a championship contender. Because trading Ben Simmons for Kyle Lowry at this point of his career, I don't think makes you a championship contender. Trading for D'Angelo Russell, who's your point guard, doesn't make you a damn championship contender. So who is, besides Damian Lillard, who is your point guard that the Sixers need so desperately? Okay, let's say we can't get rid of Ben Simmons. Then what do we do? Like, what's the next move? Let's say we just can't. Like, say we don't get anything for him. Like, I mean, let's just be honest. Like, what? There's always needs to be a backup plan to the original plan because for whatever reason,
bang your head on the wall,
beat your head until you bleed. Like, what do we do? Like, stop telling us that we need a point guard. Okay, what happens if we can't get rid of Ben? All right.
Okay, hold on. Here's one because he's rumored. Cavaliers are trying to move him. And it's not just going to be Sexton. You would get other stuff back from the Cavs as well. How much does that interest you guys?
I'm not going to lie to you, man. I'm actually really high on Sexton. And if they had the right pieces included with him, I would definitely consider it.
Kyle Lowry is like 35 years old. Trading Ben Simmons for him alone or trading other assets on top of Ben Simmons for Kyle Lowry does not win you a championship. Doesn't. Sorry. Hate to break that to you. Lonzo Ball.
2 more seasons out of him. Maybe.
Lonzo, I'm not trading Ben Simmons for Lonzo Ball. That definitely ain't happening.
Now, if they could put together a package, like maybe Lonzo, Josh Hart, and like a throw, I don't know what else they could include in that, but if they could, maybe I don't know, but not
Lowry
for what you're looking for.
RJ wants Lowry, and I'm okay with Lowry because if he's a free agent, we can just go get him. It's not a big deal. He might want to come home. And then you don't have to worry about getting Levine because you have Lowry
for sure. When we're talking like trades for Ben Simmons, like that, when they're commenting Lowry and we're talking about trades with Ben Simmons, I'm thinking that they need trade Ben Simmons for Lowry. So I'm not doing that, but I'm with you, JD. Yeah. If we can somehow like get enough money, or if he wants to give us a hometown discount, then I would definitely.
Yeah. Gint's right. Like we're not, if Ben's still on the roster, we're not shit out of luck.
Gint, what's up, boy? That's my dog.
Yeah, I know he's okay. Never mind. So,
the thing with bringing Ben back is I'm going to have my doubts all throughout the season. It doesn't matter what the regular season. It doesn't matter at that point. It's going to come down to what he does in the playoffs, and I'll be waiting for it all year. And I'd rather just not do that.
So much.
I know, but it's just like whatever. Like people just get mad. Like I understand we're all pissed. The season just ended a week ago. We're all like very emotional right now, and I'm sure by the time this like they do the draft and everything, we see what we get in the draft, see who gets moved around, and we start seeing some of the pieces fall. Like we might get a better idea, but right now we're all just throwing crap against the wall and hoping something sticks.
Yeah.
Like so, I mean,
one more name, guys, is the other name in Portland, and that's CJ. That doesn't mean I'm not doing that either. I agree, unless there's other moves like you bring in CJ and. Like you brought in Lowry and it's like Lowry, CJ, Toby, and Seth and Joel. I can get behind that. But like CJ for Ben and other stuff for just CJ McCollum doesn't push you towards a championship. No. Sorry, doesn't. Makes you a little more dynamic offensively. That's not winning you a championship.
Yeah, all these are Florian is saying something really big right here too after you get done with this one.
I think everyone will have their doubts 100%, but to just move him is laughable. Not saying y'all said that. Yeah, no, I continue to say you can't trade him for pennies on the dollar. There's only a handful of guys or packages I would look to move Ben Simmons for, and that is someone Damian Lillard, Bradley Beal. I wouldn't have done Bradley Beal 2 months ago. I think I would do it now. Zach LaVine, I wouldn't have done 2 months ago. I think I would do it at this point. And Dame. Outside of that, I'm probably not doing anything.
Brogdon's interesting too.
I ain't trading Ben for him.
Nah.
Package I would do. I'm not gonna lie.
So
to
how
you.
many?
Miles?
So how many miles and injuries do you guys want to take? Because Ben Simmons never been injured. He's 24 years old. So you can't give him away for somebody that's injury prone either. Like, because that would be in the same position without him.
He's out his rookie season, and last year he just missed the playoffs for us. He had like a torn meniscus or something in his knee.
But he's still 24. So it's still a lot.
I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. And I'm not, to wrap up today's show, because we got to get out of here. I'm not trading him for nothing. I'm not trading him for a bag of chips just to move him because we can't have Ben Simmons here anymore. Or we won't win with Ben Simmons. He would obviously have to improve his game offensively and bring, and prove us wrong, so to speak. I just don't see how that happens. I think Daryl Morey is moving Ben Simmons this year. I think something kind of big is coming. Maybe multiple moves. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Free agency doesn't have me excited because we don't have a lot of cap room whatsoever. So we would. It's all going to be very interesting, and we'll be covering it here here on the Daily Dose with DSM Media and the Painted Lines Network. So guys, please go give my guys a follow at Scotty Drowned on Twitter and at JD Oracle _DDS. Please go follow our new Twitter account. What is it, Scott? At DSM _media on Twitter. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok. We're on everywhere, guys, and we'll be posting a lot of fun Philly sports and NFL content starting real soon on every platform. For myself, for JD, for Scotty, have a nice night.